I be choosing? Our speaker today is Shobha Rao. Who is Shobha? Shobha is a distinguished Toastmaster, a club mentor chair in 2020. She has been a Toastmaster for 10 years and has held various leadership positions in the past, including club officer, area director, division director. She is currently serving as a new club mentor chair for our District 101. She believes Toastmaster has molded her leadership style and has helped her to be a better person, both in professional career and personal development. Over to you, Shobha.
Thank you, Kushbu. So how are you all doing today? I know it's Friday. We are all waiting just for the weekend. Thanks for joining. And before we start, I just have a quick question to everyone. I think I already spoke to Jamal. I learned which path she is working on. Nervin, which path are you working on right now?
Presentation mastery.
Presentation mastery. Pradeep, which path are you working on? Is he on or?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm working on motivational strategies.
Okay, perfect. So how did you even choose that path? Whatever path you guys are working on right now.
For me, I chose it because I thought it was the most basic one that I could start off with.
Okay.
And I chose because I wanted to get into management. So I thought it was just I did take the quiz. And when I took the quiz, it gave me three choices. One was persuasive, dynamic, and one more. But dynamic sounded more like, something I can take when going for management. It's just a choice that I took. Yeah.
Okay.
Which pathway are you, Jamal?
Dynamic leadership.
Dynamic leadership. Okay.
Kushbu, how about you? Can you unmute?
I chose persuasive influence for main reason that people around me says that you do create a positive influence whenever you talk, whenever you listen to people, problem or anything. So I decided to improve that particular skill. So I decided to go persuasive influence.
Okay. Pradeep, how about you?
Yes, the main reason for me to join Toastmasters was that I do kind of coaching for runners as a hobby. That includes inspiring, motivating people to join and to stay connected and stay running. And I have seen that motivational speeches does inspire them to keep running and keep coming back. So it's kind of I go back and forth between running as well as Toastmasters. I use this platform to improve myself in terms of motivational speaking.
Okay, so how long have you been a Toastmaster?
In number of years, I would say 5.
5. Okay. Okay, so let me quickly share my screen. I want this whole session to be interactive and informal as much as possible. There are only few of us, so it's easy to be informal too. So let's try to get this going. Hopefully this session would help you. Let me share my PowerPoint. Give me 1 second. Okay, so the question is which pathways to choose, right? And we all know there are so many pathways that is presented to us, be it dynamic leadership, as Jamal said, presentation mastery, motivational strategies, communication, persuasive influence, so many varieties. And all of you had different reasons for choosing your particular path. And that is the reason why you even have the pathways assessment, which Toastmaster offers, so that it kind of, the questions help Toastmasters algorithm to understand better what you really are looking for and try to give you that. Now, why do we even come to Toastmasters? As Pradeep mentioned just now, He came to Toastmasters to inspire people by speaking, to get more runners into running. So public speaking is what we all know about. Leadership skills, yes, we know about. Public speaking, leadership. And that is a given, regardless of whichever path you take when it comes to Toastmaster. Now, the 5 core competencies that Toastmasters always looks for and try to cater to for everyone. Number 1, public speaking. Number 2, interpersonal communication. Number 3, strategic leadership. Number 4, management. Number 5, confidence. As I said, 1 and 5 given. As you can see here, there's one path which is not shown here, which is the engaging in humor, which is a new path. But so now all these paths, you can see 1 and 5, pretty much every path you take covers 1 and 5, be it public speaking or confidence. You are going to be more confident once you finish some paths. But then there is a slight variation when it comes to interpersonal communication, because there are certain paths that offer for interpersonal communication and certain may not. And leadership is again a specific skill which needs public speaking and confidence, but there are some projects which is tuned just for leadership, and that is where the paths again differ. Today, what I want to do is I want to take it step by step. This is just an overview that I gave you right now. Before we even go about choosing a path or what we want to do, this is what I want you all to do. What is your main goal in life, be it personal or professional? I'm going to share in the chat window, once I find where that window is, because since I'm presenting, let me quickly. There you go. So I'm going to share a goal setting worksheet. Just write one goal. That's all I need. Okay, so you will see a PDF in the chat window, goal setting worksheet. It's a very simple worksheet, not much in there. It just says, what is your vision? I mean, if you already know your vision, you can write it. If not, it takes time for people to come up with a vision for their life. But then have a vision and just write one goal. It could be even a long-term goal. Just write one goal that comes to your mind right now.
I don't think I got the PDF.
It's in the chat.
It's in the chat window.
I'm looking at the chat though.
I don't see it either.
Shobha, you just send it to me.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, that's because that happens when you're chatting with someone and then. Okay, there you go.
We have few more people joined. Yang is a very new member. She has only attended one Toastmaster meeting. And
Okay,
Srini
welcome,
also
Yang.
joined. Yeah.
Welcome. So this is the goal setting worksheet you should all be seeing right now. Just write to me one goal that comes to your mind. I'll give you maybe a couple of minutes. It can be anything. It need not be, don't just think about your profession. It could be anything.
Shobha, are we supposed to write all the short-term, long-term goals too?
No, just
a
one goal that comes to your mind. That's good enough. I mean, I'm giving you 2 minutes. If you can think of 2, 3, that's fine too. Awesome. So I can see people have written their goals in the chat window. That is nice. Perfect. Okay. So now when you took the pathways assessment test, were you thinking about this goal in your mind? Jemo?
Yeah, I was. Because,
Okay.
yeah, it came from like, I'm still an individual contributor. So I want to manage, be an engineering manager. So that's what was driving me towards it. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, everyone, you can unmute yourself. That way it is easier. I mean, there are very few people, so it's okay. Feel free to unmute and so that you can answer. So Naveen, how about you?
I just thought that my pathway would help me get my feet wet in public speaking. I didn't see any pathways that address my specific need, which is to be more confident interpersonally. I didn't know that Toastmasters would help me build interpersonal communications, to be frank.
Okay. So basically you didn't know that there was a pathway called interpersonal communication.
No, I probably didn't notice it.
Okay. Okay, cool. Renee, what was yours?
I'm very ambitious. I started writing out all of them. I have a short-term, medium, and long-term goal, and I have a vision. So, okay, I'm excited.
Just give me one goal.
Oh, okay.
Out of all that, the top priority.
Top priority is to influence people to take action on meaningful mission.
Okay, works. That's fine. So now that you have your goal in mind, this is because when you took your pathway assessment before, you may not have really a very clear goal. So rule number 1 is have a very clear goal in your mind before you think about which pathways to choose. Let me share my PowerPoint again. So now we all have our goals set. Let's go and look at the pathways assessment test as to what they asked. This is the first question in the pathways assessment test. It says, choose any 3 which is your top priority among these. I think they have 11 points. Now that you know what your goal is, you should be able to choose exactly whatever is necessary for you. For example, let's say project planning. Now, Jamal, you said you were interested in leadership, but let's say as part of leadership, project planning is very critical for you. So then you will look at this. I mean, this is something that I thought about. I will look at that assessment test and I will think about what is important for me. As project planning, I do need negotiation. I have to make sure that I do management properly, time management, change management, and interpersonal communication to ensure I coordinate everything well when I'm designing a project. Let's look at something else. Leadership development. This is even higher, one more step above project planning, I would say. So leadership is a very, it as a word, it is, I think it's very vague. It's like way high level where we say leadership for everything. So ideally, this would be a good goal to have, but you should have a goal which is even very well defined. But I could see that most of you were very well defined when you showed me the goals that you have. But if you were to think about leadership, what are the sub goals that you will want in that? Motivating others, interpersonal communication, time management, change management, negotiation, coaching, The reason why I have not chosen public speaking for any of this, because I'm taking that as a given. Public speaking is there for almost every single one of them. So this is how you look into a leadership development. Another interesting one, speech writing. The reason why I chose speech writing, because they were asking about this in the assessment test. It could be speech writing, or it could be, you could be just a writer who is writing a book, for all you know. So when you're writing, the way I view this, I need to know, if I'm doing speech writing, I need to know how the speeches are done. So public speaking is important. And then project planning, I have to ensure that I get the speeches done on time. And I should be able to motivate others so that I can write a speech which is good enough where it can motivate others. And then obviously interpersonal communication. So these are like 5 points that I could think of when I want to do speech writing. Now, what I want you all to do, I'm showing it right here, right on the screen. Go back, look at your goals, and mark all the points that you think is needed for you to achieve that goal. The reason I'm saying, everybody's goal, you can say influence, you can say interpersonal communication, but only you know why you need that. You know why you have to be better at interpersonal communication, because the goal came to your mind because there is something lacking that you want to achieve. And for that goal to be achieved, you need to divide into subtasks, right? So for you to get into tasks, it's good for you to know what are the things you want to address. So have a look at this. I'm going to give 2 more minutes, or maybe just 1 minute should be enough. Just think about what you want to nail upon among these 11 points here.
Do we write in the chat, Shobha?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
And then we can discuss about it. It's good to write on the chat. In the chat. Okay, pretty good. I think almost pretty much all of you have written. I'm just going through, let me take one example. Yang Zhang, since you joined Toastmaster just now, let me ask you. Your goal was to influence people and interpersonal communication, from what I see. And the points that you wanted to enhance upon were project planning, leadership, negotiation, networking, interpersonal communication. Can you tell me why you came up, how did you come up with these points for interpersonal communication and influencing others?
Yeah, maybe I should have put instead of influencing other leadership. So this is something that I want to improve on. And I think for leadership, there are a lot of points that I need to improve upon. And one of them would be interpersonal communication, because you would communicate a lot with other people that you work with, as well as project planning, negotiation, leadership, and management in general. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I think when you wrote the goal, maybe you didn't mention leadership, but that was foremost in your mind, right?
Yeah.
And that is why you wrote influencing others and interpersonal communication. So yeah, that's good, because I just gave like a minute for you to think about your goal. But the idea is, I'm just trying to go through it really fast. But the idea is go back and look at those goal sheet again and write down every single point so that it will be very clear for you later on.
Mm-hmm.
And Nervin, I see you have interpersonal leadership and motivating others. So this is something that I think it is in sync with your goal. As you mentioned, you wanted to improve your interpersonal communication.
Yes. I tend to be really shy when I'm speaking to people that that are superiors or people that are coworkers, because I'm afraid of their opinions sometimes. So I want to overcome that fear.
Yeah, but do you think then in that case, leadership?
Well, eventually, so I can move up in my career.
Right, I get that. So what I want, the reason why I'm asking is, so because your number one goal is interpersonal communication and trying to talk to people better, right? Yes. Go get over your insecurities and making sure that you make a conversation and you're more confident when you're talking to someone. So if you think about it, yes, leadership is good, but then that could be the next step. That could be your I'm just using it at your case as an example, right? Sure. That could be a long-term goal, but then your short-term goal foremost is interpersonal communication.
Yes.
Right. And for that, let's say today you want to choose a couple of points from this. For that would be negotiation, interpersonal communication, and then networking.
Okay.
Because I think the more you network with people, the more you gain confidence, because you start talking. The moment you learn how to make small talk with people, that gives you a lot more confidence in everything actually. Okay. And Toastmasters is right there to help you with that. So the reason why I'm pointing this out is just for you to think about your long-term goal, mid-term goal, short-term goal. And when you're choosing a path, look at your short-term goal, immediate goal, because that should be your first path. So that is like the first step that you're doing towards your long-term goal.
Makes sense.
Okay. Let me see. Who else is brand new here to Toastmasters? Devayani, have you been around for a while?
That would be me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see.
So I wrote interpersonal communication and negotiation and public speaking. Yeah, basically my goal for Toastmasters is generally not just related to work, but work on my interpersonal communication in general. Yeah, similarly, I'm not a very open person, so I tend to, especially at work, I tend to not connect a lot outside of my just work colleagues and not share a lot. So in general, I think interpersonal communication would help with that. Yeah, negotiation also is, I see myself as more agreeable person, so I always have a hard time negotiating.
Yeah, perfect. I mean, it makes sense. And I think you're on the right track. You're very similar to what Nervin was also thinking about. So this will be your first step. That is good. So Abhijit is saying Brian is also new. Let me hear from Brian.
Hi, yes. I'm trying to focus on visionary communication. I'm a researcher, so I'm trying to find really communicative ways to have people buy into a vision. So that's what I'm hoping to learn more about in this pathway.
Okay. So I just want to understand, what is your goal though? It is you have a specific, which is good, because you're very clear about why you chose visionary communication, right? That's perfect. But do you have even further goal? The reason I'm asking is visionary communication is one path, but then there are so many others that if you want to choose, what will you do, right? So how do you think you can enhance further with other goals for whatever you are looking for?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I would like to just do a better job with also storytelling and finding ways to connect story to a vision. And I'm hoping through that Toastmasters experience, I'm able to even just do a better job with having people telling a story and having the story resonate with others, and using stories to convince people to make decisions or to buy in or to be activated. But yeah, I'm still thinking about a more specific goal, but definitely food for thought.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, I shared the goal working sheet. So think about it, because your short-term goal is visionary communication, perfect. But then you should have a really long-term goal, because with whatever you're doing with research, you said you're in the research field. So try to come up with a long-term goal and then plug it in with what you want to do in Toastmasters. Okay, now here, I want to show you at a glance what the pathways are, because you tend to see the pathways a lot. So you're wondering, where does it leave me, right? So if you look at here, level 1 and level 2 in every path, it's pretty much the same. There is some subtle differences between the communication style and leadership style. But other than that, more or less, it is the same. We have 5 levels, and level 3, level 4, and level 5. Level 3 is mainly to increase your knowledge in a particular domain. Level 4 is for building the skills in that domain, and level 5 is for you to demonstrate your expertise in that domain. Now, we have all these 11 different paths. Engaging humor is in the top because it was not part of this GIF, so I added it here. Engaging humor is purely for you to have fun, engage in humor, and give speeches. So from what I'm seeing for all of you, people who are worried about interpersonal communication, that will definitely help. But for all the others, the other parts are very helpful. Now, at level 3 and level 4 and level 5, in this GIF, what it is showing is like, what does that level 3 offer for a particular path? For example, Jamol, you said you're working on dynamic leadership. If you go to level 3, these are the required projects in that path. The rest are all elective, which is very similar across all the paths. So you can choose what you want to do. That will help you add on to what you're doing with this particular project. That is how it is designed. So in level 3, yeah.
Just one thing. Would you mind putting it into the presentation mode, because it's very difficult to read the fonts?
Okay.
Yeah, it's not visible. That's why. Sorry to interrupt.
No worries, no worries. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, there you go. So negotiate if you're doing dynamic leadership on level 3, you learn how to negotiate the best outcome. In level 4, you have a specific project that is for managing change, and level 5 is for you to lead in any situation. Can you see why it is like that? Because it says dynamic leadership. So if it is dynamic, that is why you have to manage change. You should learn how to manage change as a leader, and regardless of the situation, you should be able to lead. And that's exactly how the projects are designed around that. So similar, I will send it to you guys if you want, but I will send you a better one, which I'm going to share right now, where you will have a lot more information. So similarly for effective coaching, let me take Nervin. You were doing presentation mastery. So in level 3, it is about persuasive speaking, managing a difficult audience, prepare to speak professionally. As you can see, it is all really actually tied to presentation. Mm-hmm. But now if we go back to what you were saying, that you wanted interpersonal communication, negotiation, and networking. That is what we were thinking that would help you, right? So in that case, you can still do presentation mastery, but then you will have persuasive influence, team collaboration, Because the moment you start working on team collaboration, you will actually be able to, because this one is all about working in a team. And that's exactly what you need to help yourself. So this is how it is designed for you to look into it. Now, let me quickly, okay, before I go here, I want to show one more thing. Anybody have any questions? Feel free to chime in. I don't have to wait.
So what is 1 and 2 in the presentation mastery? Nothing is specified. Just printed, it is there. What is that?
Oh, no. Don't look at that line. This is just to let you know where I got this slide, this particular image. This was done by a Toastmaster who was following various paths, and she had written how much she has done in every level, something.
Oh,
like
okay.
that.
Sounds good.
That
Yeah.
was
Thank
not,
you.
that's not for that. Yeah. Now I want to share one more thing with all of you, everyone in the chat window. One more file I'm going to share.
And another question I have, Shobha, is if I want to do 2 pathways, then I should look for something that is not covered in this pathway, but covered in another pathway, right? And then choose that way.
Yes. So here comes this is exactly what I'm sharing right now for you to get a full view picture. Can you, I'm going to share that also, right? You can all open it. There is a PDF, Pathways Companion Guide.
A large file.
Mm.
Taking some time to download.
Actually, this guide is fairly straightforward. I will tell you how to read it. I mean, you will know if you read it anyway. Let me share that. Okay. So this is the file you're all seeing. So these are the core competencies I already spoke about. I mean, we have already spoken about this, but this is useful. You can go through this later. As I said, level 1 is always mastering your fundamentals. It is pretty much the same in every single path. You learn how to give feedback and how to research and present. This is something that is like basics for public speaking. And that is the reason why it is it's there in level 1. And it is similar for every single path. Now, level 2 is also very similar. This is where it differs slightly. So this matrix, JMOL, to answer your question, this is what you have to be looking at, and for everyone also. So these are the 11 paths that we have. And R means it's a required project. So you are going to be doing these required projects. And in level 2, as you can see, if you had chosen something which is tuned more towards leadership, then you will have certain projects there. Dynamic leadership needs both communication and leadership. So these two are required, both understanding communication and leadership style. As I said, engaging humor it really doesn't matter. So that you can see that is not required. It is just about knowing your sense of humor and connecting with your audience. That is what engaging humor is all about. I have taken this path right now because for me right now, I feel like it's important to improve my skills, especially on how to add humor in my speeches. So that is my path currently. And so this is where it varies between leadership style and communication style, depending on your path that you have chosen. Level 2 again is simple. Now, when we come to level 3, if you remember in the previous slide, I showed level 3 for dynamic leadership. I said negotiate the best outcome. So that is your required project. Pretty much all the others are elective projects. As you can see, there are so many elective projects here. The elective projects are exactly same across all the pathways. So it is up to you to choose when you're choosing 2 or 3 paths, to ensure that if, for example, let me take an example. Let me take the leadership. So negotiating the best outcome, yes, you really want to do it. Now, for the next few, you want to see reaching consensus. Is that something part of the leadership that you want to look at? Or planning and implementing? If you want to do planning and implementing as a required project, then you take leadership development as the path. So choose any 3 here that caters to what you want to do, because these are the required projects, and that you will be definitely doing those projects. So that this is how you figure out what 3 paths that you have to choose. And elective is to enhance whatever you are learning. There is a reason why it is called elective. So it is up to you to choose what you want to learn more. And someone talked about storytelling. I think it was Brian. There you go. You have connect with storytelling. So if you're very focused on storytelling, actually you can take 2-3 parts and you can do the same project, connect with storytelling across all of them, so that you keep getting better and better. It's up to you. When it says X, that means it is not available in this path. Some of these electives are not available in this path, but most of them are available across all the paths. It's pretty much the same. So looking at this, you get really a big picture, and you should be able to figure out what 3 paths you want to choose. When you move to level 4, very similar again, because level 3 is all about increasing your knowledge, and level 4 is building the skills in that particular knowledge. So again, you have required projects here. Look at these required projects and choose 3 parts where you know these are the 3 that you want to do. And elective, you can do the same thing. And the final one actually varies quite a bit across all the paths, because if you are doing high performance leadership, it is only across 3 paths. As you can see, it is not there in every single path. In fact, in the previous legacy program of Toastmasters, there were certain things we were required to do, like high performance leadership, which is not there in pathways. So it has changed quite a bit now, depending, and I'm happy about it, because now it really caters to every single person's needs and what their goals are. So you can have a look at this and decide what you want to do. I'm assuming this would have given a very clear picture for all of you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Shobha, when it comes to high performance leadership, if you plan to become an area director, then you have to choose a path, right? That allows you high performance leadership, and then attach your experience as area director into this high performance leadership?
Not necessary. You can do any other project and use it for your high performance leadership. Being an area director is being an area director. That is a leadership role that you have to do regardless of whether you're doing high performance leadership or not.
And what's the advantage of doing high performance leadership? Is it another path, or does it add anything to DTM?
It's a project in a path.
Oh, I see.
See, all these are, every single one of these bullet points are projects in a particular path. And when it says R, that means it's required in that path. For example, high performance leadership is required in effective coaching, innovative planning, and one more, wherever it is pointing to. Make sense?
Okay. Yeah. So in that case, I can take effective coaching as the next pathway if I'm
exactly.
Okay.
For you, if you want to be with your focus on where you said you want to be a leader, you want to manage a team and all that, then this is the best one. Effective coaching will help you.
Okay.
But again, as I said, you have chosen dynamic leadership, so which is good, which is leading in any situation. So you can do, but don't try to choose 2 paths, which both of them having high performance leadership. Right? So that you can do different projects which will all cater to your needs. By the way, all this is available in Toastmasters website. It is not something that I wrote. So You just go to Toastmasters website and search for Pathways Companion Guide. You pretty much can find this. But I have shared it also, so feel free to download. Any other question?
The visionary communication path is new, is it?
No, I think engaging humor is new.
Oh,
This one, engaging humor.
okay, got it.
Yeah.
I'm currently on engaging humor. That's
Engaging humor is a very fun path. I just took it. I mean, I try to generally deliver my speeches with humor in it, but this should help more.
I have a,
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, I've noticed that what is required in one path may be elective in another path. So if I see it as an elective, is the strength still the same, the elective as well as required? Like,
I doubt if you would have seen that, because as you can see here, the electives are all the same. The required varies between paths.
oh, I see.
So a required in one path doesn't become elective in another path.
Okay. Okay, maybe I didn't make that correct observation.
Yeah, yeah, it might have sounded similar to you, but
Yeah.
Maybe it's not the same.
Okay, thank you.
So Pradeep, I know I have not called upon you at all. I know you said you want to motivate people. Have you been able to, did this help? Have you been able to figure out what you might want to do?
Oh, actually, yes. So my second fold of me choosing the path is I did look at this chart and then decide. The reason is I don't want to take up something which I may not be able to do it. Because this is not the first and the last year I'll be in Toastmasters. So I wanted to take something which have a definite goal and I can reach the goal easier. So that was one way of me choosing this path. So answer to your question exactly, I mean, yeah, whenever I kind of deliver a speech, no matter what area it is, I try to motivate with that message. So that kind of helps me to keep doing what I'm doing.
True. Actually, that's what I say whenever I'm giving a speech. You know, to a motivational speech is slightly different than an inspirational speech. But to give an inspirational speech, it's like having a soup, which is, let's say you have a soup that is bland. You add some spice, you add some seasoning, you add some butter, and you really make the soup very tasty. And that is how you make an inspirational speech. Because anyone can be inspiring, and inspiring events are all around us. Anything can be inspiring. It's just the perception and how you view it and make it look inspiring also, and help people understand and connect with the audience. So when you give a speech, if you want to make it inspiring, just make sure you have some drama, some message, and you know, with right vocal variety and body language, it becomes inspiring, along with the content, of course. Anyway, that was just, I'm digressing, but that was the thought.
That's a good way to put it. I didn't know. I thought inspiration and motivation were the same. So what is the difference between motivation then? Like, is it different? How do you put a motivational speech together then?
No, motivational speech is for you to ensure people do get motivated, right? Yeah, inspirational and motivation, there are a lot of overlaps. But to me, an inspirational speech could be a speech which has, let's say I'm talking about a nonprofit organization, and if I want to motivate people, I say, okay, you go ahead and you do it. This is what you can do, and this is how it can be done. And I'm motivating people, but I can still give a speech where I say, this is what they have done. And they get inspired by listening to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So Shobha, if I may add, I'm not going through the definition of the grammar of motivation and inspiring. So what I feel is in motivating, it is something which you're already doing or already have an idea of. And you give kind of a tools or kind of a story to kind of do a little better or a little different.
Yes.
Inspiring could be a whole lot different. For example, you may not, I mean, Nirvan has run a triathlon here. You're not even a runner or in sports, and you kind of use the stories of this triathlons and completely inspire people to get off their seat and do something completely different. That's what I see difference between motivating and inspiring. I could be wrong.
No, I think you said it better. I was also trying to say the same thing. I think inspiring is you can say motivation is part of inspiration, kind of. The way I view it, at least, because it's as you said. I mean, I personally, I do give. I'm in our club, at least I'm known for giving inspirational speeches, right? So when we give that speech, the idea is when they look at what you're saying, your story whatever you have connected the dots to, they are and you're right, they are inspired enough to go and do something about it. They may not be able to do it, but that is different. But when you're motivating, it is for a particular cause. You're motivating for a particular in your case, as you said, you're motivating people to run. And I think, to me, that is the difference. Inspiration is not for a particular domain or a particular cause, whereas motivation is very specific. I think that's what you were also saying, most probably. And okay, so I don't want to go into that. Let's come back to pathways. Any other questions with regards to pathways? Have you is it clear, or are there any more questions?
One question I have is, how do we plan for level 4 and 5? Because they take a longer amount of time to do the project. What is your experience?
The way it has happened to me, at least so far, the way I see it is, I think maybe this is where I should, give me 1 second. I have one more slide where I should. So the final goal is for us all to work to a distinguished Toastmaster, which is not yes, it's a quantitative goal, but I think qualitatively also it helps us to have that goal from a Toastmaster's perspective. And going to level 4 and level 5, once you start thinking in the angle of going to a distinguished Toastmaster, you will see level 4 and level 5 actually helps you reach there. And the way you plan your projects, for example, if you're talking high performance leadership, as Jamal mentioned, if I'm doing something where I'm taking a club leadership role, or I'm doing being a club coach or a club mentor, I actually do the project, but I'm taking one step towards distinguished Toastmaster as well. So for you to first, you choose the path on what you want to do. But if it is about interpersonal communication project, let me quickly see. Because for me, I have done mostly leadership, so that's why I guess I'm trying to think how it would work for communication piece. So even there, you have to look out for projects. For example, workshop. The way I am doing this workshop right now in communication, that would come. You have to look forward. You have to plan. That is the only way for you to get level 4 and level 5, is to plan ahead, ensure that you are able to do a particular project in that level, wherein how do I put it? So when you plan properly for a communication, for example, if I'm giving this pathways workshop, it tells if I'm good at communicating or not. And if I have somebody giving a feedback, I can use this workshop to complete my level 4. So I would suggest, instead of thinking it as a project, think about it holistically, where actually it will help you and also help others when you're doing any of these projects. Because level 4 is about you building your skills, and level 5 is demonstrating expertise. So for you to demonstrate your expertise, you are working with other people. And you have to plan for that and find out what the needs of other people are, and then help them and help yourself.
Actually, Abhijit and I, we have like a system of tracking our pathway talks. Can I share that, Abhijit? I'll share
Sure, please.
Just 1 second, Renee. Before you share, let me quickly finish this.
Oh yeah, sure.
So for you to, this is just one more step. I know most of you have just joined Toastmaster. Distinguished Toastmaster is the ultimate holy grail that we all look for. So you have to finish these projects to be a distinguished Toastmaster. So you have to be a club leader, and you have to be a club sponsor, or you should sponsor a youth leadership. But then you have to be a district leader, which is like an area director or a division director. JMOL, you were asking about it. So this is, you can either use it for your HPL, high performance leadership project, or you can, it doesn't matter. You still have to do this. You have to be a district leader and then be a club mentor or a coach. So this tells you how much commitment you have to give in each of these projects for you to finally achieve your Distinguished Toastmaster Award. Some people try to breeze through it. They will do everything in one shot. They'll be a club mentor. They'll be an area director. They will also be their club president. They'll do everything. I would suggest take it step by step. Nobody is in a hurry. And I think you should savor and enjoy what you're doing in every step of the way. Now we'll go to Renee's pathways tracking sheet.
So I also just shared the link, which is the District 101 annual conference. It's happening in 2 weeks, where earlier Shobha mentioned there's like officer positions in the area and district level. For those who are not familiar, I think that's a really good opportunity just to take a look at who else is out there to serve this entire gigantic community. And you could potentially be inspired to become one of them in the near future to reach your Distinguished Toastmasters goal. And by the way, like me and Abhijit, I think a couple of us are also trying to reach that goal. So that's why we, like for example, Shobha and Abhijit, they are club mentor and club coaches for Women Lead, the club that I am president. I'm a club coach for Toast It Now. And this, in 2 weeks, I'm hoping to run for the division director to meet that area level, district level kind of an officer role for 1 year. So it's pretty fun because the more that you started to get into it, the more you feel very motivated to challenge your own leadership skills in a real way, instead of, well, not saying that it's not real by giving speeches, but by more doing in an environment where it's hard for you to motivate people with money and status, or like, for example, job title, but you really need to motivate people from the perspective of they really want to do it in a nonprofit volunteering capacity. Is a huge challenge. So this is something I learned from Abhijit, and I stole it and then I made it my own. I like doing this because I'm very systematic and organized, and I like to see it over the years that I'm actually improving. So I've already finished innovative planning, and this is my dynamic leadership. I just finished it, and I'm currently working on engaging humor. So I just finished this talk. I haven't filled it in yet, but Abhijit and I have somewhat a similar format, but he has like 20 some paths here or something. I have one additional one I'm just starting. So in each of the level, like earlier, Shobha already mentioned, right? You have like required talks and evaluation and all that in level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. So I talk about like when I actually gave the talk, at which club did I do it, and what is that talk specifically, and what is the title of the talk. And later on, I started writing more blogs. So I even put my blog post here. So I go in there pretty religiously to update. I learned this from Abhijit because prior to 2017, I don't remember any of my speeches. Everything is everywhere. I've been in Toastmaster for 6 years, and I only tracked it like 3 years ago. So now I can actually feel like, oh, wow, I improved a lot. And this helps, especially when you have to do the last speech, reflect on your path. If you have like this reflect on your path piece right here, and you have all of these like written out, and you don't have to do it last minute, it really can give you a holistic view of what you have talked about. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Hopefully you guys will find it useful and you will feel really proud of yourself. I remember when I talked about a BG, I remember when I was like, oh, be a follower first. And I also use a lot of it to talk about work, like AI for healthcare. So hopefully some of you guys will find it useful. And it's a system that you over the years develop to ensure that you keep track of your own progress.
Thanks, Renee. That was good. Yeah, previously when we had the legacy program, we had printed manuals where we used to write what speech we are giving, and it used to have every single project. So it was very easy for all of us to keep track because everything was printed and everything was written very neatly. We also used to follow evaluation, but nowadays it's all online. So I guess it's good to have some kind of tracker so you know what you're speaking about. Actually, yeah, I don't keep track, Renee. I think what you have done is very good. I give speeches, but then I forget what I spoke about after maybe a year or so. I don't actually remember. That's good. That's good to have.
Yeah, it's great to even think back like 2-3 years ago, some of the speeches. I was like, wow, I have come a long way since that speech. Because you have a little bit to remind yourself that title, and when you did that speech, you were like, yeah, because sometimes people end up leaving Toastmaster because, you know, they were like, well, I've been in it for quite some time and it's time to move on and to find more interesting things in life. But then if you have something like this, you'll be like, wow, I have come a long way. And there's still a lot more to go because you never know that end goal, where that's going to be. And it works for me. It may not work for everyone. Just thought to share. And of course, I stole it from Abhijit. All of his great ideas, I take advantage, replicate, and use.
So it looks like Abhijit has shared the tracker template. So again, everyone feel free to download and you can start using it. Okay, I think, so to end on a different note, is Pradeep still here? So what do you do, Pradeep? You are, you said you were an athlete. So is it like triathlons? What do you do?
No, I work for Cisco. I'm in Toastmaster, and I do running marathons, half marathons, and 50Ks as a hobby.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, my husband is a runner also, so I kind of got interested. That's
You don't want to hear anything about running, I guess.
No, I have heard a lot. I've seen him running. I mean, he's very passionate about running too. He's a marathoner and he's just done too many. Yeah. Okay.
Shobha, which pathway have you completed? And just want to know about your journey. Like you started in Toastmasters. And
oh, okay. Yeah. So I started Toastmasters in 2011. So it's exactly been 10 years. It was 2011 February. So I am a DTM. So my DTM is in the legacy projects. So there we did, we had a lot of manuals for communication speeches. I think that overall comes to somewhere around 45 speeches or so. And then I was area director, division director, and then high performance leadership, all those things, right? So I did all that. I became a DTM. Now for pathways, right now I'm doing two paths. One is motivational strategies. And the second one is effective coaching, because I'm more into coaching and mentoring. And again, motivational strategy is something I really like to give speeches which are motivational. So I thought I'll do that. But then now my third path I have chosen is engaging in humor. And where I have come in my path, I go kind of haphazardly. Abhijit knows I just submitted level 4 first, and then I submitted a level 1. Yeah, I depending on what projects I'm doing, that's the reason why I was talking about level 4. Because let's say I'm being a contest chair for a district project, or I'm now a new club mentor for district. There are so many workshops. I deliver a lot of different types of workshops. So I end up doing more of level 4 and level 5, which I tend to use. for these projects. But then level 1 and level 2 also. So I think, yeah, I'm just doing it somewhere there between those two.
Okay.
I mean, definitely not like Renee. She is like zooming, and Abhijit, I know he is like really zooming on, but yeah, I'm taking it slow.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then
need to rush, by the way. There's people are in Toastmasters for their lifetime. You really have until you're 80 years old, 90 years old to finish maybe one path, or depends on your own goal. So there's no need to stress. You're not competing with any of us. You're competing with yourself.
And I personally, if you were to ask my opinion as an individual, I would say take it slow. Don't rush. You have to enjoy every single speech that you're giving. You have to practice for every single speech. Jamal, you know that. I have mentored you before. I know how you know how it works. So practice every single speech, enjoy your speeches, and take it really slow, step by step. There is no need to hurry. I mean, yeah, DTM is just one more title. Doesn't matter. As I often say, from Toastmasters, you get what you want out of Toastmasters. There is no such thing as there is a curriculum and you have to finish it. No, you get what you want out of Toastmasters. So have fun and enjoy, loosen up. It is not about giving speeches. It is about improving yourself and making yourself better. For me personally, it has helped a lot, more than in communication or leadership. I would say, okay, as part of leadership, I would say the evaluations have helped me. I have learned how to give proper evaluations to my teams, to my subordinates, or to my bosses, and how to not hurt somebody's self-esteem when you're giving an evaluation. To me, that is very important. And I think I personally benefited a lot by giving evaluations in Toastmasters. It has helped me both personally and professionally. So look out for what you really helps you and go for it. Don't think about the number of levels you have to finish, number of speeches you have to finish. Take it at your speed and enjoy the journey. That is more important.
That's kind of difficult if you have Abhijit as a coach.
I know. Ask Abhijit what I tell him. I tell him to slow down. He has to slow down because if we do too many things, I think we have to take it step by step. And I understand what you mean by Abhijit as a coach. Yes, he really pushes people.
I have one thing. I did finish my CC manual first, even though I was in Toastmasters for a while. My active years are a little lesser. But there was the change from CC to Pathways was overwhelming. The reason is, even though it is easy, because there are so many paths, so many levels, for a new Toastmaster, it's a little overwhelming. Have you seen this? How have you tackled it?
Yeah, I think initially it was overwhelming for many people. You are no different. That's because, as you can see, they just offered so many electives, levels, everything, and it is very confusing, because previously you had a CC manual, you have to follow it. Then you had like several a manual, you pick up and you follow it, right? So it was easy. With too many options, there comes too much of confusion. That is what has that's what happened with Pathways. And I guess that's why we are having this workshop. Hopefully, when you look at the overall big picture with the table, I guess it becomes easier. Because when we look at Pathways individually, previously, in fact, when they started, they didn't even let us know what was there in the upper levels. Unless you finished level 1, you didn't know what was coming in level 2. Unless you finished level 2, nothing was clear. But now they have made it better. I hope that helps. But it is what it is.
Shobha, is that list is available on the Toastmasters website?
Which one?
The list, the entire, the different electives and all those.
As I said, it is called Pathways Companion Guide.
Okay.
You can just go to Toastmasters website, put it in the search button, it will immediately pop up.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah,
that would be
and even
helpful
the goals worksheet which I shared, that is also actually from Toastmasters. You just say goals worksheet, it will tell you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was the inspiring inspiring pathway again? Which one is that?
I'm sorry, inspiring pathway?
Yeah, the one that we talk about inspiring. Which pathway is that?
There is no pathway for inspiring, pretty much. Maybe visionary communication and motivational strategies could help you if you want to give inspiring speeches. Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I think those couple of persuasive influence, motivational strategies, and visionary communication, those three.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, I guess we are running out of time. Abhijit, are we done?
Yes. Yes. Unless we have any more questions from our folks today, I think we are good.
Shobha,
yeah, go ahead.
One last question is, when you give speeches at different clubs, sometimes you cannot connect it with a pathway. It's just that you're repeating the speech, right? I was wondering, when you're offered an opportunity to give a speech, but then, you're not doing that at that level, it's just previous speech you're just giving. I was wondering,
if you're giving the same speech, you can't do it. I would suggest not use it as part of your pathways manual. I mean, because you would have already used it once for your pathways, right?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So if it is the same speech, no. But if it is a different speech in a different club, sure.
Okay. But the same speech, you're just giving it so that you can enhance your communication skill,
That's
right?
up to you. Yeah. Yeah. Unless you're using it for the level 1 feedback where you have to give it twice, then it's okay. But other than that, I would suggest no, because that's not the point of giving speeches. So
okay, thanks.
And I would also suggest all of you to look into leadership roles, as Renee mentioned. It is really fun being a leader. So Jamal, I guess you're gunning for most probably something because you already asked about it.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks for the great question, Jamal, and thank you for answering that, Shobha. And thank you so much for answering all of our questions, sharing all of your insights with us. It was very informative session. I'm sure we all have more clear ideas about how to choose our pathways.
Okay.
And with this, I would like to adjourn our meeting officially. If you have any more questions, please reach out to me or Abhijit or anyone, however you joined this.